You are listening to Penne Pyro, Book 2 of the Jade Sommer Series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2021. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 12. Mila, Lily, and I had stayed up later than expected. I had a feeling that when I first told them my theory about the reviewer being a possible arsonist, they weren't on board. But the more we discussed and dug deeper, the more they decided it was worth pursuing. Of course, that was after Mila derailed us with talks about Logan. I steered her back. Eventually. So, when I shuffled out of bed the next morning, I wasn't expecting Mila to be awake, especially since she had stayed up later, wanting to get a start on the formula or algorithm or scraping, whatever it was. "How are you awake already?" I asked, yawning as I made my way to the coffee machine to find only a drop of coffee.
"Easy,"
she said, adjusting perky purple glasses that sat on her nose.
"I never went to sleep."
"You must be exhausted. And when did you start wearing glasses?"
"I'm running on caffeine fumes. I only dig these babies out when my eyes get tired."
"They're cute." They rather suited her heart-shaped face.
"Thank you."
"I'll make you coffee." She grinned.
"Just admit you want to make the coffee so you can drink it.
"You're on to me, Sherlock."
You can make a pot all for yourself. I have a few more minutes of work and then I'm going to take a nap."
"What have you done so far?" As she explained the complicated jargon only computer people understood, I filled the machine with water and started the coffee brewing. By the time I sat down at the table with her, she finished her summary. I understood none of that. "And how do you know so much about the techie stuff?"
I had originally wanted to major in computer science, but I decided I wanted something more artistic.
"Which is why you went into graphic design." She nodded.
I already understood computers, so graphic design just felt right.
"I'm sorry we couldn't use your skills more at the agency." She waved off my apology.
I knew going in what my job would entail. It was just a stepping stone for me anyway.
That's what I had thought when I began working for the agency as well. And now we're both working at a restaurant. She laughed.
And I'm having more fun now than when I tried to climb a corporate ladder.
I smiled. Me too. "So, what did you find with all of your computer sleuthing and scraping?"
I found 4 people who could be candidates for the leading role of the suspect. I looked at the review websites and matched them with the fires. All 4 of these people had written reviews within the last year. One had written reviews within the last month.
"Really?" "I'm interested in all of them, but particularly the last one you mentioned." She turned her laptop to face me.
Meet Gershwin V.
"I knew it. It's the reviewer I was telling you about. He has to be our pyro."
Now that I've seen the data, I'm inclined to agree.
I sat back to think. I know we were thinking of inviting him to the restaurant since Avery is there, but now I'm a little worried. The last thing we need is a fire in the restaurant. We're barely hanging on as it is.
I agree about not wanting a fire. But the restaurant is doing better than barely hanging on. The dining room has been packed. I even had to start a wait list. And you seemed really busy last night with deliveries.
I was.
See, the restaurant is almost back on its feet.
As long as it doesn't burn down.
I might have one other guy who could be a suspect.
Who?
There's a guy who has a channel called Burn Down Chicago.
Well, that title alone puts him on the suspect list. What's his deal?
I watched a few of his videos. It's basically him ranting about everything that annoys him about Chicago. In the end, he votes whether or not it should be burned down. I'll give you a guess as to his vote.
I don't think I need to guess. Were any of the restaurants on there?
2 that I could find. This guy does a video every day. I'll have to look more at the videos. I ran out of steam.
Don't kill yourself over this. I can help too. She gave a nod.
What should we do with the information about Gershwin and the others?
It was on the tip of my tongue to say I would give it to Logan, but after Avery's warning, I didn't dare. Still, there might be information in there he could use. You should give it to Logan, I suggested.
Why don't you?
You know why? She sighed and pushed back from the table. Slipping off her glasses, she put them next to her laptop.
This has to do with an arsonist, not you trying to get him back. It's completely innocent.
Great. So you'll do it?
No, stop being a chicken and send over the information. I'm going to bed.
She shuffled down the hall to her bedroom while I stared at the laptop screen, looking at Gershwin's profile. It listed all of his reviews and was time-stamped. I knew he was shady, but seeing him as a top suspect gave me the creeps. I took a picture of the screen with my phone and sent it to Logan with a brief explanation. No other message was included. Just information. That was it. Done. There was no way Avery could blame me for trying to snag her man with that boring data. And when he texted back a few moments later, I ignored the message and headed to the bathroom to get ready for the day. When I arrived at work, Lily and Avery were in the kitchen, talking about the dish of the night, which sounded full fat, heavy in carbs, and absolutely heavenly. I didn't want to interrupt or get in Avery's line of sight in case she heard about my text to Logan. I headed through to the office. Ross wasn't there, so I peeked into the dining room where I found Ross and Mom in conversation. They were looking out the front window at Mr. Lee's boarded-up building.
I heard they might have to tear it down,
Mom said as she pushed her hair off her shoulders.
When did they say that?
Ross asked.
I just talked to Lily and she doesn't seem to know.
When I was outside sweeping, I overheard a city worker.
Sweeping? Since when did we start sweeping the sidewalk? You just wanted to hear what they were saying.
She gave a delicate shrug.
Perhaps. It doesn't change what I overheard.
That's too bad for the Lees.
I walked over to stand next to them at the window. What if they don't rebuild? I asked, wondering what life would be without Mr. Lee's dumplings just across the road. Out of everything that had changed in my life, Mr. Lee's was a constant. Mom sighed and wrapped her arm around my shoulder.
I just hope they catch whoever is responsible. There was another fire last night.
There was? I asked. What restaurant?
I think it was a Brazilian steakhouse.
I needed to text Mila. When I had last seen her, she was just crawling out of bed. The thought reminded me of why I wanted to speak to Ross. Mila is running a few minutes late, I said to Ross.
That's fine. It'll give her less time to bother me.
You can tell her you aren't interested, I said.
I did.
I gave him a flat stare. With words?
Yes?
What did you say?
I can't remember.
Because you didn't say it. Mila is smart, but sometimes you have to just spell it out for her. But be nice. She's my roommate. I'm sponging off her, and she's been donating her time getting the restaurant up and running. She's actually a great catch.
I'm not saying she's not a great catch. I just don't like her in that way.
My thoughts strayed to Lily, who, for whatever reason, liked Ross as well. Do you have anyone you do like?
I have no time to date anyone.
I tisked. There is plenty of time if you find the right woman.
And when I find that woman, I'll be sure to delegate some of the restaurant responsibilities to you so I can have a night off.
Well, that backfired on me, and judging from his grin, he knew it. I headed back into the kitchen and sent a text to Mila about the newest fire. Maybe tonight we could figure out if Gershwin was still the prime suspect.
Jade.
Avery called sweetly to me. I glanced up from my phone to find her at the prep table with Lily.
Can you be a doll and round up everyone? I have some news I want to share before we open.
Sure. I headed back to the dining room and told Mom and Ross to meet in the kitchen. I then found Kobe hiding in the walk-in cooler. He squeaked as soon as he saw me. "You're wanted for a meeting," I said, "and you can stop hiding from me. I know you didn't mean for your stunt to spiral out of control. Just don't ask me to help you with your channel ever again, and we're fine,"
Thanks, Jade.
he said as he shivered.
I am sorry.
"Have you heard about any backlash from the online gambling?" He shook his head.
No, I've been hiding from everyone.
I thought about Lan, hiding over at Nana's. Maybe she could use Kobe as an extra dealer at her casino nights. "Come on," I said. "Avery wants to share some news." We stood around the prep table, minus Aunt Dot, Mila, and my dad. Apparently he wasn't feeling himself. I wasn't sure what that meant, but it worried me a bit.
I have great news.
Avery said.
Local food critic Yves Battier will be here tonight to review the restaurant for the Sunday paper.
I wasn't sure who Yves Battier was, but the gasps and smiles that surrounded me indicated he must be a good person to come to the restaurant.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Mom said.
I'm so happy for the opportunity, but what if he gives us a horrible review?
He hasn't given me a bad review yet. We'll work like we normally do and treat him like he's a regular customer. We'll be fine.
I'm glad I didn't have to worry about making a good impression. I'd be out delivering food.
I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware he was coming. But don't let it go to your head. He's just a regular guy who eats and writes for a living.
Sounds like the best job ever.
Kobe said. I had to agree.
Do you know what time he's coming?
Ross asked. Avery shook her head.
He gives me the courtesy of letting me know the day, but not the time.
What does he look like?
Mom asked.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him.
He tries to stay out of the camera spotlight for a reason. He doesn't want people to know he's a critic.
I guess we'll be on our toes all evening and hope for the best. Jade, can you forward the information to Mila so she knows?
I gave a nod and pulled out my phone to text her. Avery dismissed everyone. It was a short while later that we opened the front door, and the first delivery order came in.
Heads up, Jade.
Lily said.
You've got a delivery in 10.
Perfect. I could slip out while everyone else had to worry about the food critic. I gathered the scooter keys and helmet. I then rolled silverware into red cloth napkins until Lily yelled that the order was up. Grabbing the 2 pizza boxes, I headed out to the back alley. I was thankful it was summer and the nights weren't dark until after our rush slowed. It made finding addresses easier, especially since I was still remembering where all the roads were. Most of the regulars I had figured out, but with this order, I had to use my phone to GPS the location. A text from Logan came through.
You didn't answer my text. At least let me know if you're okay so I don't worry.
I supposed I should have responded earlier, but I was walking a thin line with Avery, and it infuriated me that she had so much power. But what was I supposed to do? Sorry, I'm fine. I'm going on a delivery run now.
And you won't get involved with the arsonist case, right?
I was only testing a theory. I leave the information in your hands.
Good. Stay safe on the road.
I sent a thumbs up and then mapped my route. Once I had my directions, I slipped the phone back in my pocket and took off. But as I navigated the commute-congested roads, my mind wandered to the new fire. Had Gershwin reviewed the Brazilian steakhouse? I had no doubt that he did. And why leave penny pasta at the scene?